guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Lillian and I like to talk about all things astrology, tarot, spirituality. If you're also interested in these types of topics, then I encourage you to please hit the subscribe button. Also put that bell on so that you are notified whenever I post a new video. I am excited to talk about the sign of Pisces. I'm so sorry if you're a Pisces and you've probably been waiting forever for this video. So if you're a Pisces and you are here to learn about Pisces energy, then let's get right into it. Pisces is a mutable water sign. It is the 12th sign of the zodiac, making it the very last of pretty much every series, unless the person making the series is aware that Pisces always comes last. And so some astrologers on YouTube will go backwards. I probably will do that next time I just, do a series just to make it fair, just so that it's not always Aries first, Pisces last. So one good thing about being the last sign of the zodiac, it means that you're the wisest. So although you might be last to get your readings or, whatever. So yeah, because Pisces is the last of the zodiac wheel, a lot of people see terms like reincarnation or eternity. The Pisces symbol, we all are familiar with it. It is the fish. Two fish, one's head is at the other's tail and vice versa, so it's kind of creating this infinite loop. Well, the symbolism kind of encompasses that, and you see that with this like almost infinity sign that the fish create. And also, interesting fact, in numerology, the number 0 and the number 8 also refer to this infinite loop, because 0 is kind of like the symbolism of the snake eating its own tail, and as well the 8's the infinity sign, infinite. Also, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, which a lot of us from Greek mythology know Neptune as the god of the sea. So ruled by Neptune in modern astrology, back in ancient astrology before Neptune was discovered, Jupiter was the ruler of Pisces, lucky, expansive, spiritual Jupiter. And so you can kind of see that tying in there, but Neptune is mostly, symbolic to when you think of Neptune, you think of water. When you think of water, you kind of think of limitless, boundless, mass of something that doesn't have clear boundaries. So just some quick Neptune signification. So Neptune is often associated with things illusionary, all things glamour, mystery, deception. Going to the whole deception thing, sometimes you might be looking out at a body of water and it might look beautiful. It might be deceptively beautiful to the point where you're like, I really am wanting to jump into that body of water because it looks gorgeous. So you go and jump in only to realize it's freezing cold. I can see the mystery aspect to it because nobody really knows what's deep down in the sea. So another major reason why I could see that being applicable. Neptune also rules over things that are more intuitive, like inspiration, dreams, psychic ability, spirituality, illusion, confusion, all of those things that are kind of out of your grasp, out of your five senses type realm, the other side of things. Neptune's also, not only is it a very intuitive sign, but it kind of has this young, innocent spirit to it. And I really feel like you can see Pisces energy embodying that quite well. Speaking on the co-rulership, Jupiter also brings in more of that spiritual, higher thinking type energy into Pisces, which just bombards it with this spiritual creativity, spiritual depth. And I think that's why a lot of Pisces people, or people with heavy Pisces energy in their chart, they kind of just have this intuitive knack to them that even if they're not really tapped into, they just kind of lead with that without even knowing it. I feel like this is why sometimes Pisces people can be really good in social interactions one-on-one with people, because it's they can pick up energy very quickly. Even if they don't realize that they're using their intuition, they really are all the time. And this is, very advantageous when it comes to forming new bonds. Other traits that you can see Pisces grabbing from Jupiter are, that expansiveness, that generosity, that kind of happy-go-lucky energy that is just very pleasant to be around. You will always feel very special around Pisces people because they want to gift. They are generous. They want to make you feel good. They want to make you feel important. They want to make you smile and laugh and have a good time and just make you feel all those great, feelings that Jupiter makes you feel. But then you combine that with the depth of Neptune and the insight of Neptune. It just makes for such a more rich soul in Pisces individuals. I feel like a lot of Pisces definitely have a very rich old soul to them. Just want to go over some pros and cons of Neptune and Jupiter really quick, just so that you guys can kind of see where Pisces might grab some of the positive traits and some of the more negative traits from these planets. So Neptune, on the one hand, I already kind of mentioned that Neptune's really good for intuition, for spiritual development, for just like that natural spiritual knack. Or again, even if you don't realize that you have it, you just are very intuitive. Neptune is also the planet of mercy and compassion. And so, you know, that's why you see a lot of Pisces people, they have a hard time sticking to their guns sometimes when they're mad at people or when people do them wrong, because it's like their ruling planet innately seeks to bring mercy and forgiveness to people. So it's like, of course, and of course, because Neptune doesn't have any boundaries, you can see that very clearly as well. Wanting to give that kindness and compassion out to people, that's kind of where that comes from, right? It's not like they're set in stone or set within a boundary or limited by anything. It's like it goes so much deeper than that. One of the more negative things about Neptune, though, is that they can be deceiving. Well, the planet Neptune embodies a lot of like deception, trickery, addiction, lack of boundaries, guilt, indecision, just, you know, name a few. Then you look at Jupiter. Again, Jupiter is very expansive, very higher knowledge type expansion. Jupiter is a planet in the universe that wants to be friends with everyone. They want to get together with everyone and have a good time and enjoy yummy food and laugh and just have a jolly old time. Jupiter won't discriminate if you're from somewhere else. Jupiter loves faraway places. Jupiter loves higher knowledge. Jupiter loves spirituality because of that, but more so philosophy. You know, Jupiter's a big old philosopher. Jupiter can also bring a lot of ease to your life, a lot of charm to your personality, a lot of enjoyment, a lot of ease. I feel like I already said that already, but whatever. Expansion, good luck, all these amazing things. But the one thing with Jupiter that can be not so great is when it comes to getting shit done, or when it comes to having to crack down with very like Saturn-esque type duties. Jupiter has a hard time because Jupiter is a jolly old guy that just wants to like throw his head back and chill. Like Jupiter isn't all about restriction, like for example Saturn is. Jupiter isn't all about hard work necessarily. Jupiter is the type of energy that is so magnetic that things are attracted to it because of its high vibration, but it has a hard time going out and seeking those things that it wants, right? Jupiter's just used to things coming to it so easily, and so for this reason, you might see a bit of laziness, you might see sloppiness, you might see carelessness, details, not really wanting to do a lot of hard work, heavy lifting. You might have a hard time finding yourself the motivation to bring, you know, to the table if you have a lot of Jupiter influence. So yeah, these are just some things, some themes that you can see play out within Pisces energy specifically. Really, I want to touch really quick on the mutability of Pisces, but also the fact that it's a water sign. So already, because it's a water sign and because it's ruled by planets that are very intuitive in nature, Pisces is probably going to be one of the most intuitive, psychic-like signs of the zodiac, and especially out of all the water signs. Now, all the other water signs, they do have a depth to their emotions, but I don't know, Pisces emotions and intuition just goes to another realm, and so they are quite deep and mystical. They have this aura to them. A lot of, for example, musicians, artists, they're Pisces because they just have this like this gift to tap into other dimensions or other frequencies where they can create this like beautiful art that you've never seen before because it really isn't from this world. You know, the depth of Pisces goes beyond this world. And so I think that, you know, not only does its ruling planets help with that, but the water helps it have that depth. It helps it be soft. It helps it be intuitive, emotional, compassionate, artistic. But mutability attached to that water can be a little hard for Pisces people to deal with. It kind of reminds me a bit of the whole Cancer energy where, you know, because they're ruled by the moon and the moon shifts very quickly, they tend to have quick shifting emotions and mood swings. You can sometimes see this with Pisces energy as well, and you can see that in the symbolism of, you know, the fish at the tail kind of eating itself in this loop. Because it is mutable and it resembles that spiral energy like Gemini does and Virgo and also Sagittarius. Pros of it, they're also very flexible with people. They don't really get too mad if you change plans. It's hard, just like with every other mutable sign, to kind of get a grip or stay grounded, because the energy kind of like takes you all over the place, and it can sometimes be hard to stay grounded but also be rooted in your identity and your beliefs and in who you really are. So I feel like a lot of mutable signs can sometimes have a hard time with being true to themselves because they're kind of people pleasers. Okay, so some pros of the energy of Pisces. Something that's really wonderful about Pisces energy is that it can go really deep into the human psyche. Like Scorpio, but I feel like a little bit more intuitive. You know, Scorpio goes deep, but Pisces goes so deep that you end up in another dimension. Like, for this reason, you might find yourself having very deep conversations with them that you can't have with the average person, or you might get into topics that you've never disclosed to other people, like, you know, maybe things that happened to you in your childhood, so like traumas, or just like very deep emotions that you don't share with people very often. Pisces energy is the type that allows you to kind of let go of all these social constructs and fears. Pisces doesn't really see them as being legitimate. Pisces just sees them for what they are, which is just a construct. And for that reason, Pisces has no trouble going in deep and kind of ripping that veil from people's lives and kind of allowing them to freely be themselves. Yeah, a lot of people with Pisces moons, or just heavy Pisces energy. A lot of Pisces, they are gifted with these amazing psychic abilities. Some Pisces, they might have like prophetic dreams, or they might have like premonitions where it's like they knew something was going to happen before it happened and they were like, oh my god, what? Pisces sun, which you probably are if you're watching this, and this doesn't really resonate with you, it's probably because the rest of your chart is not very intuitive based, so it's probably more air based, earth based. Like, as a Pisces, you know, you might be having a one-on-one conversation with someone and you can just pick up on their energy and really understand why they feel a certain way, or like understand the pain of something they've been through or the joy of something they've been through, and you can really like live those memories with that person, and it just creates this like really deep bond between you and the person. And for that reason, like, so many people want to be around Pisces energy because it's like, oh my god, they really get me. Like, they don't just look at me for like the person I am, they almost see inside of me, you know. Their intuition doesn't fail them often, you know. If they're in like crappy situations or something that's like doesn't feel right, their intuition will be pinging. They might not pay attention to it at first but eventually they'll be like, oh damn, I should have followed my intuition from the get-go. If you're a Pisces, or you have a lot of Pisces energy, I would recommend you start listening to your gut. I think too, Pisces has something to do with medicine. Pisces people, they might be in like medicine or something where they're like healing people. Even if they don't realize that they're healing people, they are in a way. I 100% know that most Pisces people are natural healers. They come into the world with those gifts, and that's because they're a more advanced soul, hence why they're the last of the zodiac. I see them involved in that type of stuff, or they might just really be into artistic ventures, whether it be music, painting, singing. Another great thing about Pisces, because they are a mutable sign, they're very adaptable, they're very flexible. Again, they're not going to get mad at you if you change times, if you had plans, or if you scrap the plans altogether. Pisces are the type to understand and be like, you know what, yeah, you take your rest if you need it today, no problem. Like, they probably want to chill home anyways too. They were just waiting for you to text them type thing. Very thoughtful, they're very kind, they're very nurturing. A lot of people say that Pisces are really great partners, they're very great caretakers. So you might see a lot of Pisces people like maybe in nursing, or caring for the elderly, or maybe they take care of their parents. And they're very connected to those that they care about, because again, like, they have this like very deep connection with these people. It's not very surface level at all. It runs really deep, and so they almost see their loved ones as just like an extension of themselves emotionally. And that's why I also feel like they can be really good caregivers, because they pick up on this energy, guys. They can be sitting next to someone that's really sick, for example, and they feel it. Like, they feel the emotions, they feel the pain sometimes. Like, it goes really deep. So you wouldn't normally give a water sign like the characteristic of being like an intellectual. That's more so something I'd give to an air sign, because that's typically what they represent: thoughts, ideas, blah blah blah. Pisces is quite an intellectually curious sign. They like to explore the depths of topics. Pisces, they love exploring things that are misunderstood, people that are misunderstood, you know, people that have kind of been rejected by society. Pisces will kind of be that mother that takes in all the strays in society. You know, Pisces loves to vibe with these people because they're not, you know, most of the time they don't want to talk about mundane topics that just barely scratch the surface. These people want to get deep, and for that reason you often find that with people that have gone through a lot of crap in their lives tend to have a wiser, deeper perspective. And you know, for that reason, Pisces might find that they kind of fit together all these people that don't fit in with the rest of society, and they kind of make their own little commune. They are so selfless and giving. They will give the people that they love everything. Sometimes people say that Pisces are lazy or messy or whatever, but that's only because most of the time the things or the jobs that they have or whatever in passing, they don't ring true to their soul. Like, they don't enrich their soul, and for that reason they're like, man, like, I'm not going to waste my soul's essence on this job that's just making it rot away. Like, when they find something that brings them joy and when they find something that speaks to their soul, they will be such hard workers. Like, that is when you see the hard work coming out. And that's why, again, I say a lot of musicians, a lot of artists, world renowned, by the way, are Pisces. If you're a Pisces and you're feeling kind of lost in life and whatnot, maybe try and do some creative things, because although that might not be like the thing you end up pursuing long term, it might be the avenue that leads you down the right path to discovering what you're meant to do, or to allow you to have that enlightenment in your life. Right. So as you guys all know, no sign or person escapes this channel without having to go over the cons. I care about you, and this is why I'm going to tell you what's wrong with you. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell. Like I was saying earlier, because Pisces is ruled by Neptune and also Jupiter, both of them don't really know when to stop. Both of them don't really have clear boundaries. What's gonna do to people with Pisces energy, it's gonna make them a little bit bad with setting boundaries, especially because they tend to be really giving. So this just kind of tends to backfire sometimes, because it's like they give almost to a fault. Sometimes it's like, okay, you're giving me too much now and I feel bad, but like, yeah. And so they just give and give and give and give, and then it's like they gave everything they owned, or like they just didn't know when to stop. And when people don't reciprocate that back, they can kind of get upset and not feel like they're important, even though they really are. What they realize is that like they need to get a grip on how much they give away. And people aren't going to think differently of you if you don't give and give and give. Like, they're still going to think you're amazing, Pisces. You're still an amazing person. You don't need to give yourself up for somebody else's pleasure, or just to have people think that you care about them. Like, you show that with how well you listen. You show that through how deep you go with people and how you connect with them. Don't feel like you need to be constantly giving people things, or even constantly giving people parts of yourself, because that can happen too. The thing with Pisces is that they can be quite emotional. Everything is like limitless with Pisces. That means their emotions are also limitless. That means that they range from one side of the spectrum to another, and they kind of float through that without any warning. I feel like a lot of water signs, especially Cancer and Pisces, but specifically Pisces, I feel like sometimes they feel so deep and they just want to understand why they feel so deep, and they just go on this quest to understand and uncover everything in the world so that they can like understand it finally. But they, much like Scorpio, but even a step further, and this can leave them lost. Okay, this can leave them lost in the sauce. They go on this quest to try and understand life itself, but it just leads them to even more confusion. So also watch out for that. Most important thing about being a human being, or being a soul in a human body, is that you're here to experience both the spiritual and material realm. So although Pisces, you might feel like you're inherently more of a spiritual being, you have to understand that you incarnated here on Earth in order to also develop and explore the material and enjoy it. So don't get so bogged down in like, oh my god, this is so 3D, or oh my god, everyone's so like surface level, or everyone's so materialistic, or, you know, sometimes being a little too much of either one, I think, can knock you off balance. And so as a Pisces, it's very important to understand that there are things in the material realm that you must take care of, like your bills and your taxes, and like just taking care of the people that you're responsible for, or whatever it is, getting your shit done so that you can continue living a productive and fulfilling life, you have to do that. But you can also tap into the spiritual, and most people don't do that, Pisces. So Pisces is actually dealing with the reverse problem, where most people are completely oblivious to their spiritual side and actually go most of their life being completely unattached from it, and that's often the reason why they're unfulfilled. Pisces, you have the opposite problem. You already are coming from that space, so you need to find a way to become more attached and grounded in the material. As ucky and yucky as that might feel sometimes, it doesn't mean that you're losing your spirituality or your light. It just means you need to bring some balance to these conflicting energies somehow, because that's part of your purpose here. I think sometimes this leads to stereotype of a lot of Pisces people being like drug addicts or just like addicted to a certain substance, whatever it may be, because they have a hard time sometimes dealing with the world and how it is, because people are selfish, people are rude, people aren't in touch with their spirit. Not everyone, but a lot of people. And so this is hard for people that are spiritually evolved or people that are very tapped in. It's very hard to deal with these energies every day. And for that reason, I understand why Pisces would want to go and escape a little bit. But just be careful, because again, Neptune and Jupiter, they don't know any boundaries. Jupiter just wants to enjoy and keep enjoying. And Neptune doesn't know when to stop. And so you need to be really strict when it comes to escaping either way, you know, whether it be through substances or spirituality or whatever it is. You got to make sure that you stay balanced, Pisces. You know, and I think because Pisces kind of has a hard time, like I said, staying balanced in a way, and they see other people being totally fine with that, it can cause them to be self-deprecating sometimes. They feel like nobody really extends themselves to the Pisces like they do for others. They can kind of sometimes feel like it's their own fault, you know, like, oh, I'm just not like this enough, so people don't love me, or like, oh, this person like doesn't give themselves up like I do, so like they must like hate me, or like it's that type of energy where like they always kind of like look more on the negative side of things towards themselves. Like I said, because Neptune is known for being deceptive, Pisces, you're gonna get those traits too. So Pisces, they can be known as, you know, being a little bit deceptive with emotions, or not even emotions, but just like what they really think, because they don't want to be harsh and they don't want to like hurt anybody's feelings. And so they can be deceptive sometimes and just like fall prey to like telling white lies because they don't want to deal with confrontation, or they don't want to deal with like upsetting somebody else because they feel it, right? The flip side, Pisces energy can also be prone to being manipulated themselves because they're so giving, and sometimes they don't listen to their intuition when it's like, hey, this person's not good, stay away from them, hey, this person's not good. And because most of the time people that are highly manipulative, they know how to mask it very well. These can sometimes have a hard time believing that this person that's like so shiny and awesome on the outside could actually be not so great on the inside. And so just be careful for that, falling prey to like being lied to or manipulated. Pisces, very heavily influenced by their surroundings or by the people around them. And so sometimes they can lose touch with who they really are, and they can have a hard time staying true to who they really are. And they kind of just can sometimes become people pleasers, or hanging around a lot of people that engage in like not the best activities, or don't have the best mentalities, or just aren't doing the best things with their lives, these environments. So sure to be wary of that. Choose the people around you very carefully, and don't just fall prey because it seems like a good time. Like really analyze, is this going to be good for me in my soul development? Is this going to help me with the things I struggle with? If it's a no, stay away. I'm going to wrap this video up. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and for watching my Pisces video. I just want to extend my gratitude to you. For Pisces, I really hope that this rang true to you. I hope that you don't hate me too much after the cons, even though I was kind of easy on you compared to other signs. But if this resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe, turn your bell on, leave a comment down below letting me know it resonated or not. Without further ado, I'm going to say bye-bye, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.